It was 1969. I was 14 years old, kind of old for a Girl Scout. When my troop heard that we had a new leader named Mrs. Crabtree, we were concerned. And then we heard that she had asked the church where we met if she could smoke in the Girl Scout room. And we felt so much better. The church said no, so we met at her house. And we found that she was an elegant older lady with a tall white bouffant and a deep tan who did indeed smoke a lot. In the spring, Mrs. Crabtree told us that we had sold so many Girl Scout cookies that we'd take a special field trip during spring break week. We were to fly up to New York City, and that was unbelievably thrilling because we lived in a small city in Southwest Virginia. Mrs. Crabtree had a daughter named Sandy who was a model in New York, and she would be our tour guide. So we stayed at the Waldorf Astoria, and when I walked in that lobby, I thought it was the most beautiful place I'd ever seen. There were huge palm trees and a poster of the entertainer for the week, the famous Hawaiian singer named Don Ho. His big hit had been Tiny Bubbles. So we had a great week, despite the fact that we had to wear our Girl Scout uniforms every day. Except for Saturday night, when we could wear our regular clothes to see a Broadway play. So I was rooming with my good friend Katie and another girl named Linda, who was tall for her age and very pretty. Well, Linda got ready for the big night out first and went down to the lobby to meet Sandy. Katie and I kind of lagged behind because Katie had to take the rubber bands off her braces. But when we got down there, I noticed that Linda was talking to a grown man in a Hawaiian shirt. And I thought, could it be Don Ho? So I hid behind the palm tree. And I noticed the man was a lot younger than Don Ho. He looked to be about 24. And I'd only seen Hawaiian people on TV. And I thought, these, in real life, this man is really quite attractive, albeit quite old for a Girl Scout. And I overheard Linda say, I don't think I can meet you tonight because I'll be with my friends. And the man said, well, how many friends? And Linda pointed to Sandy, who had brought two of her model friends with her and said, oh, just them? Well, I thought the man's eyes were gonna pop out. He looked so excited. And he said, great, I'll bring some of the other young guys from the band. We'll have a great time. Meet us in the lobby at midnight. I'm going to show you things you've never seen before. So all evening long, I kept thinking, what would those things be? And I thought, it's going to be after midnight, so surely only nightclubs will be open. And I just don't think Linda can get into a nightclub with her learner's permit. And then I thought, well, maybe he knows a special place in the hotel he'll show her. And after all, he's in a band. Maybe he'll show her his instrument. So when we got up to the room, I asked Linda, are you really going to meet that guy from the band? And she said, are you crazy? Have you ever heard his music? My parents listen to that crap. And she said, maybe if it were Mick Jagger, I would, but not this guy. And then I said, would you mind if Katie and I went down to the lobby to meet him? So Katie and I very quietly walked down the hall toward the elevator, hoping that Mrs. Crabtree had gone to bed. But no. She had dragged a chair to her open doorway, and she was sitting there with a cigarette in one hand and a martini in the other. And she said, just where do you think you girls are going? I said, we couldn't get to sleep, so we thought we'd go down to the lobby and watch people. And then the moment of truth. Mrs. Crabtree said, great idea. Just let me grab my purse and I'll go with you. So Katie and I went to bed instead. Our rendezvous with professional musicians, 10 years, our senior thwarted. Thank God and Mrs. Crabtree, who was exactly what two very naive Girl Scouts needed at the time. Thank you.